Post out the other day, I was fishing and I ain't catching nothing. And I said, the question was, are you at peace when you don't get what you want? Nigga, that's a question. Is that a question? Are you at peace when you don't get what you want? I am. I was out there fishing, I ain't catching nothing. Still out there peaceful, joy, love, laughter, fun. I love life, man.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a heck of a question. Are you at peace when you don't get what you want? I went through a roller coaster of emotions. I was at the bottom of, to me, what life was. That's why you got public success, and everybody that's successful publicly, they're struggling somewhat privately. And you got to really understand that. See, the thing about it, we do this when the camera's on. We got to do this when the camera's off. We got to talk to each other, man. We got to love each other. We got to, hey, man, Fred, you all right, dog? Hey, dog, you all right, man? You all right, dog? Chad, you all right? Chad, you know I do that with him all the time. You all right, baby? Talk to me. Just tell me you good. I'm good. I don't need nothing, don't want nothing. That's how it is. So we don't do that as men, especially when we start putting folks on a pedestal, man. You're like, shoot, you know, and that's not good. That's why you got to be careful who you call a role model, because a lot of these models out here playing roles.
Before, that's it right there. Hey.
I always think that like those things that like when people tell you like, yo, this is not possible, or this is like, or, you know, when someone tells you something that's so earth shattering, I always feel like it's because you're so close to what, you know, your purpose is, that it's like life can't give it to you that easy. It's like, nah, nigga, I need to know if you believe in this shit before I even, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even like, you know what I'm saying? It's like selling somebody a nice ass car, and it's your car, you've been loving this shit for life, and you're like, yo, are you gonna treat this good? It's good.
My dad just passed away about 4 weeks ago. One thing that occurs to you when this sounds so stupid, but when your dad dies in front of you, or when a family member dies, you know, you're going to die. I'm going to die. And you know what? Well, my dad, this may sound really creepy, but you know what? My dad didn't have to think about when he was passing away, what the electric bill was that month, getting his car washed, what he was worried about, because it ends. So the things we stack on ourselves, that we worry about, that we fear, it's all going to end. So why not live freely? Why carry these emotions and burdens and feelings and thoughts around that don't serve us when it's going to end anyway? You are eventually not going to worry, not going to fear, not going to worry what anybody thinks about you, because you will not be here. So why not accept that as a truth and begin to live that way right now? That way.
Get along with everybody in the world. But man, if you can't get along with yourself, what a miserable life. What a miserable life. And here's the flip side of it. You cannot get along with everybody in the world. Let's say majority of people in the world, but you get along with yourself. You know what's so weird? The person that gets along with themselves, but nobody else in the world, lives a happier life than the person that doesn't get along with themselves, but they get along with everybody else in the rest of the world.
I found that with depression, one of the most important things you could realize is that you're not alone. You're not the first to go through it. You're not gonna be the last to go through it. And oftentimes it happens. You feel like you're alone, and you feel like it's only you, and you're in your bubble, and I wish I had someone at that time who could just pull me aside and, hey, it's gonna be okay. It'll be okay. So I wish I knew that.
I know there's a lot of people out there and that are in this space that tell you you have time. I always used to tell Kobe, I said, we don't have time. Every time we would work out, every time we would prepare, every time we would do something, I would just be like, this is urgent. Everything's urgency. We don't have time. Man, I wish I was wrong. Boy, I wish I was wrong.
Before they took my dad away to the hospital the last time, my dad's whole life was about helping other people get sober. And he did this anonymously in AA. I never met any of these people, although at his service I learned about them. As my dad's being pulled away, no joke, guys, my dad's being pulled away in the ambulance with oxygen on. He cannot breathe. I mean, watching your father struggle to breathe like 3 breaths a minute, 4 breaths a minute, it's pretty emotional. My dad's phone keeps ringing, and he's got it in his hand on the stretcher that he's on there pulling away in. My dad grabs the phone, pulls the oxygen out, and he takes a call from a man who was struggling to go back to drinking again, who he was sponsoring. And my dad stopped. I've never said this ever. My dad stopped the two men driving the ambulance and said, please stop. And I watched him. And he talked to this man like that for 30 minutes and saved him, put the oxygen back in, and 4 days later, my dad died.
You can be the lion or you can be the gazelle. I'm gonna love you. One way or the other. You know what I'm saying? You want to be the lion, I'm gonna love you. You want to be a gazelle, I'm gonna love you. Just if you're a gazelle, just be the fucking fastest gazelle you can possibly be, and I'll run the other gazelle so a lion don't eat your ass. Yeah.
Gratitude is one of the most strongest forms of power in attracting good things. You know, if you truly feel grateful for the things in your life, I always felt grateful for even the small things. I always used to celebrate the small things. Now I might be celebrating the bigger things, but I always celebrate every little good thing that would happen to me in my life. Even before I had any kind of money or any of that, I would celebrate and I would feel grateful for it, and it just gave me more. And this is exactly the same thing that's happening right now. I still remain grateful, and more comes. More.
So all these athletes were in awe of Michael. And I think Drew at the time says, hey man, do you set goals? He said, yeah. He said, where'd you learn? He said, what do you mean where'd I learn? He said, where'd you learn? Like, do you learn in college? He said, I didn't learn in college. He said, did you learn like SMART goals? Like, what the fuck are SMART goals? You know, and SMART goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and with the time frame. Michael said, when I would go into Safeway, I recognized that if I walked into Safeway and I wrote 8 things down, I would walk into Safeway and I'd walk out of Safeway in 5 minutes. If I walked into Safeway and had nothing written down, I would be in there for 20 minutes and I'd find myself on aisle 8 and I'd be anxious and I'd be nervous and I'd be, why am I looking at the wheat thins and the ho-hos when I know I don't need any of those things? And he said, so because I wrote it down in Safeway and it worked, I figured why would I be any different about my athletic career?
My dad, he always used to say to me, you don't want to look over your shoulder the rest of your life. He said, doesn't take much strength to pull a trigger. He said, try to get, these are words in the movie, try to get up in the morning every day and go work for a living. That's a tough guy.
You're right.
That's a tough guy. It doesn't take much strength to pull a trigger. What is that? You want to go work for a living on a job you don't like to do, but you do it for the love of your family. That's a tough guy, he used to say. The guy was right. I think I learned in life, you can never bring somebody up if you don't want to, if they don't want to go up. You can't. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how much you want to tell them, you could help them. If they don't want to go up, there's nothing you can do.
100%.
But the reverse is not true. Somebody bad could bring a good person down. They can.
100%.
Because the negativity in the world is much more stronger than the positive sometimes. And the negative people can bring you down. So I stay away from negative people.
Just let everybody know. Think sometime, who are you? Be in touch with who you are. Because trust me, if you don't, at this stage, get in touch with who you are and get to know this person, who this is, I think it's a wasted life.
Who are you?
Where have you come from? Why are you here? What is your purpose?
Always be the last one to condemn somebody. Because when your turn comes around, if you're the first one to condemn somebody,
Right.
they're going to condemn you right away. He said, always be the last one.
That's a
if
good.
you condemn at all.
If you condemn at all.
Yeah, he said, be the last one.